Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I wanted to make a video about the Descent game mode and some of the new changes that we received in there with the latest update for the Division 2. If you didn't see some of my past coverage along with some other changes, Year 5 Season 2 has added a bunch of new talents to the loot pool within Descent, and ever since they announced this, the one that I wanted the most was Regicide. Now, if that doesn't ring a bell, it is the talent that you get with the Regulus exotic pistol from the Iron Horse raid. It is the one where when you hit a headshot kill, it creates this huge explosion, deals a bunch of weapon damage, applies bleed to all nearby enemies. It's super strong, and in a mode where you're able to attain such power levels like in Descent, I was super excited to see how this might fit into that meta. Now, in the first few days when the update dropped, I did several runs where I would restart after loop 1 if I didn't get the pick of it. I even did a dedicated stream to try and get it, which some of you might have tuned into. It just wasn't happening. For the first 2 weeks of this update being live, I could not get it. Well, my friends, evident by the background gameplay, I finally did, and this is easily the most fun I've ever had in the Descent game mode, and some of the most fun I've had in PvE content in the Division in quite a long time. Now, it's not the focus of this video, but I'll just mention that the rewards in this mode have been increased this season as well, and the devs said on the reveal stream that they're looking into expediting runtimes and kind of allowing you to focus in your talent picks a bit more, kind of in lieu of adding a save and return feature, which is what the majority of us have asked for, but they've said it's not really possible with the way they structured the mode. Point is, the Descent experience is only going up from here, and this is a good time to try it out if you've been away for a while. Now, before we get any further, if you're curious about what build I'm using in this gameplay, this is it right here. The only thing you might see switch throughout the clips is the primary weapon, because I got a few better options as I went on, but this is pretty much the talent layout that I had all the way through. Pummel, Allegro, Concussion, Surgical, Vigilance, and Critical are all really good options for how I play as far as offensive talents. Then in defensive, I had high stacks of Preservation. That's always a really great one if you're trying to go for high loop runs, in my opinion. Insulated is nice to have. They added Efficient with this update, which is really nice to have so that you're able to use those armor kits more. We had high tiers of Adrenaline Rush, Clutch, and they also added some choice new picks in Utility that really revolve around status effects so that you can both lock enemies down and get better bonuses off of that. So in there we had Trauma, Ignited, Steady-Handed, Vindictive, Optimized, and Salvage is another new one. I used to exclusively run the Bullet Hell exotic talent because of just how useful it is, but with the additions of both Pummel and Salvage, I rarely have to reload and I don't have to run Bullet Hell, which means in the exotic category, I now have Breathe Free, Bloodsucker, and Regicide. That combination for me is so fun. You get a lot of defensive capabilities with Bloodsucker. You're able to run around the map super fast with Breathe Free, and then of course, like you're seeing in the gameplay, Regicide is so fun. Popping those headshots and just taking out so many enemies within the spawn closets, or even just doing it out in the field once they move out of there. It's insanely strong, and like I said, just a ton of fun. I got the Revive Hive, and the Jammer Pulse is really nice in those later loops because obviously it works well against the Black Tusk, but it also staggers any enemy it hits, so it can be useful against any faction. And then with the way I structure my talents, I like to have a slow firing, high impact primary, something like an MK16 for the AR or slow firing LMG. And then a good Super 90 is just going to do wonders with this setup. And then since we're focusing in it on here, this is the Regicide exotic talent. Headshot kills create a 5-meter explosion, dealing 400% weapon damage and applying bleed to all enemies hit. So on paper, this sounds like it might not be as strong as something like Adaptive Instincts from the Chameleon or Plague of the Outcasts or even Agonizing Bite. And that's not to say that this outclasses those, but for the way I play this mode and the playstyle I like to adapt and build towards with all of my talents, as I said before, it's not only quite strong, but it is a ton of fun. And like I said, this is probably the most fun I've had in PvE in quite a long time. So I'm just going to let a few clips of this setup play. From here on out, I want to show a few rooms that I did where it really just got a good flow going. If you find yourself playing in a similar way in Descent, I highly encourage you go in and check out the Regicide talent out. Even if it's just for one run, I think it's worth experiencing just how fun that can be. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the gameplay as well as the overall changes to the Descent mode. If you've hopped in there since the beginning of the season, I want to know what you're thinking about it. If you enjoy content like this and you want to stay up to date with all the latest on the Division 2, then consider clicking that subscribe button. And that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.
Console available. Console. Console available.
Moving position.